Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. So in today, I'm actually going to go through the 2022 Northern Hemisphere exam for maths methods. Okay, so let's get started. So question 1, if y equals sine x squared plus 1, find dy dx. Okay, now here we use the chain rule. So we want to let u equal x squared plus 1 and our y equal sine u. We know that u dash is equal to 2x and y dash is equal to cos u, and then dy dx is equal to u dash multiplied by y dash. So let's do that over here. So dy dx equals 2x cos u. Now we know u is over here. U is actually equal to x squared plus 1. So what we're going to do is we're going to sub it into this u over here. So it will be x squared plus 1. That's your answer for question 1a. So yep, let me just, perfect. Question B says, if f of x is x squared log ex, find f dash. Okay, so what we want to do here is we want to first, because it's 2 marks, we want to first show f dash of x. So I know that this over here is the product rule. So our u in this case is x squared. Our v is equal to log ex. Our u dash is equal to 2x. Our v dash is equal to 1 over x. So our f dash of x is actually equal to u, so u multiplied by v dash plus v u dash, which in this case is what's u, so it'll be x squared multiplied by half x, 1 over x, plus log e x multiplied by 2x. Okay. Now, I'm going to simplify this. So it'll be x plus 2x log ex. Now, what we want to do is we want to find when f dash is equal to e. So it'll be e plus 2e. Log e is just 1. Therefore, your final answer here is 3. There we go. That's for question B. Question 2. Okay, if f of x is given by f0 equals 3, and f dash of x is this, where x is greater than negative 1. Okay, so what we're going to do is to find f of x. So f of x is equal to the integral from 2x plus 1 plus 2 cos x dx. Now, there's a common factor of 2, so I can take that 2 out. So I can take that 2 out and say 1 over x plus 1. And just let me put the bracket over here and split them. So it'll be dx plus integral of cos x dx and close the bracket. So it will be 2 log e absolute value x plus 1. But we don't need the absolute value because we know that x is greater than negative 1. So we can say that x plus 1 plus, so cosine, so the integral of cosine is plus sine x, close bracket. Okay, now therefore f dash of x is equal to 2 log e x plus 1 plus 2 sine x plus c. Now we're given the condition that f0 is equal to 3, so we can say that given that f0 equals 3, Therefore, this will be 3, f of x will be 3. This will be 2 log E1 plus, so 2 sine 0 is, 2 sine 0 is just 0 equals c. So, and we know that log E of 1 is 0, so we're saying that c is actually equal to 3. Knowing that, we can finish f of x, your final answer, as 2 log E x plus 1 plus 2 sine x plus 3. That's your final answer. I'll just make this a little shorter so it fits perfectly. Okay. Like that. Let's move on to the next question. Okay. Here it says, a marketing company wants to estimate the proportion of a population who regularly ride bicycle for exercise. The company randomly samples 100 people from this population and finds that 10 of these people regularly ride bicycles for exercise. Use Z equal 2, find an approximate 95% confidence interval for the true proportion of the population who regularly ride bicycles for exercise. Okay, so we know that the confidence interval formula is, if I'm not mistaken, it's in your formula sheet, but it's P, so it's P hat minus Z square root P hat 1 minus P hat all over the value of n. And your other confidence interval, so is plus Z P hat 1 minus P hat all over n. Okay. So what I can do is I'm just going to first calculate for this one. So I'm going to calculate this one, and it will quickly help me do this one. So what's P hat? Well, P hat is, we know that 10 people out of 100, so it's 1 over 10, your P hat. So we can say, okay, we can say 1 over 10 minus, our Z is 2, the square root, so P hat is still 1 over 10. 1 minus P hat is 9 over 10, all over n, which is 100. Okay. What I can do here is I can solve, okay, let me actually, because it's 2 marks, what I can do over here is rewrite the same thing. So 1 over 10 plus 2 square root 1 over 10, 9 over 10, all over 100. So let me just simplify this one over here. This simplifies to 1 over 10 minus 2. Okay, 9 times 1 is 9, 100. So this will be simplified to 3, so the square root of 9 over 100. Yep, all over, and it'll be the same for this one. So 1 over 10 plus 2, 3 all over 100. Okay. Now this is easy. If I know that, so 1 over 10 for this one minus 6 over 100. So I want to simplify that. So that'll be 10 minus 4. So 10 minus 6, which is 4 over 100. So I can finish this off by saying this is 4 over 100. Yep, comma. So let me just expand, finish this one. So 10 plus 6 over 100. And that will be 10 plus, so 16 over 100. It will be 16 over 100. Now we can simplify that more. So if I bring this over here and simplify it, so, okay, so 1 over 25 this will be, and this one will be, so if I'm not mistaken, it will be 25. Okay, over 4. Is that right? Have I done anything wrong here? Looks right. Okay. So that's your answer for this one over here. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, consider the function f, okay, where it's restricted from 0 to 2 pi. F of x is this, given that f pi over 2 is equal to, and that this is this, show that a equals 5 and b equals this. Okay, so we can make two simultaneous equations and solve them. So, when f is pi on 2 is actually equal to 2, let's do that. So, if we sub in, so it'll be 2 a sine. So what's sine pi over 2? So sine pi over 2 is 1 plus b, which will mean 2 equals a plus b. So this, we can call it equation 1. Let's do that for now. F, second one, which is 3 pi on 2, equals negative 8. So that will be, so it'll be negative 8 equals a. So what's sine 3 pi? So 3 pi over 2, which is just sine pi plus pi over 2, which is negative. So it will be negative a sine pi over 2. It will be written as negative a sine pi over 2. Now we know that sine pi over 2 is just 1, so we can just leave that there, plus b. And that is your second equation. Now, if I add them together, I can get rid of that a. So I will say add equation 1 and 2. So let's do that. So it's 2 equals a plus b, and negative 8 equals negative a plus b. Adding them together, we will get negative 6 equals 2b, where b now is actually equal to negative 3. Now, because we know b equals negative 3, we can shove it into any equation, but I'm going to shove it back into equation 1. So we will get 2 equals a minus 3. Now a is therefore equal to 5. So we've actually shown over here that a equals 5 and b equals negative 3. Okay, sketch the following f of x on the set of axes below labeled the endpoints and the turning points with their coordinates. Okay, so to do this, I'm going to rewrite the function. So it will be now f of x equals 5 sine x minus 3. Now, the range is negative 3 minus 5 and negative 3 plus 5. So that will be negative 8 and 5 minus 2, so that will be 2. This is your range. Now, because I know my range, I'm just going to just sketch lines from negative 8 to 2. So negative 8 to 2. We only want from 2 pi, so yep, to here. And negative 2, so which is over here. Perfect. And what I'm going to do, I'm also going to sketch this negative 3, y equals negative 3, because that's my actual translation down negative 3 units. So negative 3 is in the middle over here, like that. Okay, perfect. Now, I know the function, so I'm just going to take this function over here and bring it down here, so I can look at it. Okay. Let's sketch it. So, I know from the initial questions that we know that when when x is equal to pi over 2, it will equal to 2. So, knowing that, so we're saying it'll be over here. One point will be over here. And we know that when it was x is equal to 3 pi on 2, it's negative 8. So, that will be over here. And what's the period? Well, the period is pi. So, knowing that, it's going to be over here. And I know that the maximal we're going is 2 pi. That's your endpoint. And we know also 0 is another endpoint. Now, putting this all together, we will get a graph like this. All right, slowly, like that. And perfect. That should be good enough. Now, what we want to do is label the endpoints. It says label the endpoints, so the endpoint here will be 2 pi -2. And this endpoint here will be 0, -3. So they label the endpoints and the turning points. Okay, the turning point here is pi onto 2. So, yep. This endpoint over here is 3 pi onto -8. Okay, we've done that. So that should be 2 marks. Perfect. It says, state the values of k. State the values of k for which f of x plus k, where k is an element of all reals, has no solution. So, our function f of x, which is this graph, is being actually translated up or down. So what we can do, this k over here represents a translation up or down. So if we put 1, 2, we're translating up, and if we put negative numbers, it translates down. And what we want to do is we want to find where there is no solution for x. So it means that where it does not touch the line equal x equals 0. So I'm just going to draw a red line over here on x equals 0. All right. I hope it's visible. I'm just going to use a different color maybe. Okay. I'll just take a screenshot. So I'll take a screenshot. No. It'll be okay. Let's just do this like this. Okay. So at x equals at y equals 0, what can we do with a graph to make it not intersect? So we don't want to make. So what we want to do is we want to find the values of k. So what ways can we translate it down or up to make it not touch? So not actual touch the pin graph. So let's look at an example here. So if I take this, oops. Okay, let me just do this. If I can, if I take this whole graph, I think that'll be all right. If I take this whole graph, so I can rotate the graph. Okay, that's good. That's good enough. So what I'm saying is, well, for it not to touch, so the pin graph, we can translate it 1 unit down and 2 unit down. Yep. So it's still touching. You can see it's still touching at that point over here, but we can actually try not including that point. So we can say k is an element from, because we went down 2 units, we can say, well, if we go down infinitely, so for example, if I go down infinitely, it will never touch that, again, that pin graph. So we can say from -infinity to, because we went down 2 units, so -2, not included. Because if we include it, we'll actually get a solution. So we don't want to include that. Okay, so let's put the graph back to where it was. And let's look at other values. Okay, oops. So let me take this whole graph. Okay, and put it where it was. So it was 0 to 3, so it will be over here. All right. And what other ways can we make it not have solutions? Well, we can put it up. So if we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so we can say that if we put the function 8 and higher, so from 8 to infinity, because 8 and we go up and up and it goes forever, we will never touch that graph again. So we can say, if we put this graph back here, we can say another solution. So union from 8 to infinity also can give you So I think that's the answer. So state the values of k for which this has no solutions, which we have done over here. Okay. But it says 2 marks. Okay. So we've put the answers. That's a mark. To get the second mark, I would normally, again, resketch that image and translate it. But, so state the values of k for which, okay. So k equals 0. So what can I do to get another mark? Well, we've got the answer. Yeah, there's nothing else we can actually do. I mean, we've got the answer, so that'll be it. Normally what you'll do to get the second, I think, answer is take a full, I would resketch it, like a small sketch over here. For example, I would normally resketch it and try to like show that if I go above, so like I'll resketch this whole thing. So I'll be like, if it touches this, it touches that, something like this. Oops. We say this, and that. So that's 1 point, second point, yeah. But yeah, we've just calculated it. We've calculated the answer by just sketching the graph, by looking at the graph, using the graph to our advantage. So yeah, that's what you can do. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Find the value of m for which this, where m equal, okay. So, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to integrate, we're saying from 0 to pi, f of x plus m. So what's f of x again? So f of x is 5 sine x. So 5 sine x minus 3. Okay. Minus 3 plus m dx. This equals, if we put the small bracket, so this will be negative 5 cos of x minus 3x plus mx from 0 pi, which is equal to 0. Now, finishing this off, we're saying that negative 5 cos of pi, if I'm not mistaken, is negative 1. So we put a negative 1 here. Minus 3 pi plus m pi minus, so if we put a 0, it'll be negative 5 for cos, and 0, 0, okay, and close bracket. Simplifying this, it will equal to 5 minus 3 pi plus m pi, oops, I forgot to equal 0 here, plus pi, plus 5 equals 0. So we're saying that 10 minus 3 pi plus m pi equals 0. We can say that m pi is 3 pi minus 10. And dividing both sides, we just get, oops, dividing both sides by pi, we get this as your solution. And it can be simplified more as 3 minus 10 over pi. Alright, that's that for that. Okay, let's look at the next question. It says, consider the function with the rule f of x e1 minus x. Simplify f of x, this, express your answer in this. Okay, so we know that f of x is just e1 minus x all over e1 plus x. Now indices, we know that this will be 1 minus x minus 1 plus x, which will equal e1 minus x minus 1 minus x, which therefore is your answer is minus 2x. So that's your answer. Do we get in the right form? So you express your answer to form if k, where k is an integer. Okay, perfect. Also, it says show that f of a times f of b equals this. So we can say that the left-hand side, which is f of a times f of b, which is e1 minus a multiplied by e1 minus b. And your right-hand side, let me simplify this more. Let me simplify the first one more. So left-hand side, so it'll be E 1 minus A plus 1 minus B. So it'll be E 2 minus A minus B. So right-hand side is E 1 minus A plus B minus 1, which is equal to E1 minus A minus B plus 1. So therefore E is 2 minus A minus B. So what can we see? That the left-hand side is actually equal to the right-hand side. So therefore, we can say left-hand side is equal to right-hand side. So also should give you your solution. All right. If solve f of x equals 2 for x, give your answer in this. Okay. So let me use this color and say we want E1 minus x to equal 2. That will be log E 2 1 minus x, which will be x 1 minus log E 2. So we want it in this form. So we can change that 1. We know that x equals log E of E is actually equal to 1. So using that, substituting as 1, we can rewrite this function as that. And therefore your x equals log E over 2. Is that right? E over 2. So m and n are real numbers. Okay, perfect. Looks right. Next question. Okay, probability. Oh, yuck. In a particular city, the probability that it will snow on Monday is this. If it does not, so if it does snow on Monday, the probability that it will snow on Tuesday is this. If it does not snow on Monday, the probability that it will snow on Tuesday is this. Okay. Let me just draw a tree diagram, making it easier, because, okay. So, we're saying, on Monday, so let's say, if it snows, so we'll say SM, which is snow Monday, and NM means not Monday, so not snowing on Monday, or just NM. And then the next route will be on, because it says, if it does not snow on Monday, the probability that it will snow on Tuesday. Okay, so we say, this will be, snow, ST, so snow on Tuesday, NT, not snowing on Tuesday. So this will be STNT. Now, I know that in a particular city, the probability that it will snow on Monday. So snow Monday, which is here, so it'll be x squared. Now, I know that this value should be 1 minus x squared. And the next one, if it does not snow on Monday, so if it does snow on Monday, so snow on Monday, the probability that it will snow on Tuesday is 1 over 4x. So this will be 1 minus 1 over 4x. And the next one, if it does not snow on Monday, the probability that it will snow on Tuesday is just x. So x 1 minus x. So knowing that, we're saying, find an expression in terms of x that gives the probability that it will snow on both Monday and Tuesday. So we're saying probability that M intersection ST, which is SM and ST, which is x squared multiplied by 1 over 4x, which is x cubed over 4. That looks right. Okay, next one. Find the value of x if there is a 25% chance that it will snow on both Monday and Tuesday. Okay, we already know that the probability that SM intersection ST is equal to x cubed over 4. Now, we know that it's 25% chance, so we can equate this as 0. Well, it's just a quarter. Think of it, 0.25 is just 1 over 4. So, your x value would just have to equal to 1. We can see. So find the value of x. Okay, looks right. Next question. Find an expression in terms of x that gives the probability that it will snow on Tuesday. So we're saying probability that it will ST, so snow on Tuesday. If I go up here, we know that that will include the probability, that it will SM and ST, so SM intersection ST plus NM and ST. So it'll be probability of NM intersection ST. So NM and ST, yep, so snow on Tuesday. Which will equal overall, so we know that SM and ST is just x cubed over 4 from the last answer question. Plus, so NM and ST, so NM and ST is x times x 1 minus x squared. Okay, now solving this, it will be x cubed over 4 plus x minus x cubed, which will equal to, so we're saying 1 over 4 minus 1, so we're saying negative 3 over 4. So we're saying x minus 3 x cubed over 4. Okay, so find an expression in terms of x that gives the probability that it will snow. Okay, that's it. This is your answer. We can just, is that right? X, so x minus, okay, x minus, looks right. Move on to the next question. So find the value of x that will result in the highest okay, when you see the highest, it means the maximum. Max. So we want the highest probability that it will snow on Tuesday. Okay. And find the probability for this value in this term. Okay, let's just do one by one. So we want to find the value of x that will result in the highest probability that it will snow on Tuesday. Now we know that the probability of ST snowing on Tuesday is x minus 3x to the power of 3 over 4. So let's find the derivative of that. So we want to find ddx of x minus 3x cubed over 4, which is equal to 1 minus, so 3, so it'll be 9x squared over 4. And we want to find the maximum, we let it equal to 0. So it'll be 1 minus 9x squared over 4 equals 0. That will be 9 over 4x squared equals 1. So x squared is equal to 4 over 9. Is that right? So multiply both sides by 4 over 9. Okay, 4 over 9. Therefore, your x values, so x is plus or negative 2 over 3. Okay, 2 over 3. Can we use both values? Well, they get squared. No, they can't, because, oops, what did I do? We can see, we can see that x, that probably must be positive because, okay, so we know that x must be greater, or it can actually be greater or equal to 0 because it probably can be 0. So we can say, therefore, x is equal to 2 on 3. So we've calculated the value of x and found the probability that the value for this value in terms of a over b. Okay, now all I have to do is sub that into probably, okay, so that will mean that the probability of ST is equal to 2 over 3 minus 3, cube that, so it'll be 8 over 27. Yep, so 3 times 3, 9, yep, all over 4. All over 4. Now, that simplifies to 2 over 3, 8, 16, 24, so minus 24 over 27 divided by 4, so times 1 over 4, and that cancels out to be 6. So this is 2 over 3 minus 6 over 27. If I'm not mistaken, 9, 18, 27, 9, 18, 27. So this will be 18 minus 6 all over 27, which is equal to 12 over 27. Is that right? I think so. 27. All right. I'm gonna just move on to this next question. I hope that is right. I'm just gonna make a little. And I'm just gonna move some things apart. So this over here, I'm gonna bring it over here. Okay, we're done with that question. Have we done everything? Yeah. And that's your x value. Okay. Question 7 says, consider the function p, where p is from 1 to infinity, p of x, blah, blah, blah. Find the value of a when p negative 1 over a equals 2. So we know that p negative 1 over a equals 2. And if we multiply both sides by p of x, so p of, p minus a, so if we bring that, it'll be p on 2. Now, we know that these both cancel out. So it'll be just a equals p on 2, which is what? P on 2 is... So p on 2 is, if I'm going to sub that into function, so it will be... So 16 minus 8 minus 4 plus 3. Therefore, your a value, so 6 minus 8, so that'll be 4. 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, that's your value. Next one, find the value of b when p of b equals this. Okay, where b is greater than 0. So, if p of b equals 1, we're saying that b to the power of 4 minus b to the power of 3 minus b squared plus b plus 1 is equal to 1. Now, both 1 cancel out, so it's just b to the power of 4 minus b3 minus b squared plus b equal 0. There's a common factor of b, so we can say b to the power of 4, 3 minus b squared minus b plus 1 equals 0. So find the value of b. Well, we know that b is equal to 0, but we know that b cannot equal 0, so we reject that. So we're just going to say b to the power of 3 minus b squared minus b plus 1. So it's a cubic, and we can't factorize it, so we're just going to, let's guess by using the factor theorem. So let's say b is equal to 1, so it'll be 1 minus 1 plus 1, which is 0. Okay, so by the factor theorem, that will be, so we sub 1, so it'll be b minus 1 is an factor. Now, by using synthetic division, which is a quick way to get the other solution, so 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1, and this is 1, so if I put down over here, 1 times 1 is 1, negative 0, 0, negative 1, negative 1 times 1, which is negative 1, so this is 0. So perfect, so this simplifies to b squared minus 1 equals 0. Okay, I don't need that. Oops, I don't need that. Okay. So your answers will be b minus 1 squared, b plus 1 equals 0. So b is equal to 1 or b is equal to negative 1. But b is greater than 0, so therefore b is equal to 1. Only. Okay. Okay, perfect. Find the rule and the domain of f inverse of 1. Find the inverse of f if this is x. Okay. Okay, so to find the rule, what we're going to say is we want to let f of x equal y. And we want to state a statement, so swap x and y. So we're saying this will be x, will be y plus 3 all over y minus 2, which we can say xy minus 2x equals y plus 3. And we can get both y's in both on one side, so this will be 3 plus 2x. Collect of common factor of y, so x minus 1 is 3 plus 2x y is therefore 3 plus 2x all over x minus 1. So your rule now is, bring it back, so inverse of x is equal to 3 plus 2x all over x minus 1. Now for the domain, so for the domain of f inverse, of inverse, it's the same as the range of the original function f. So what's the range of the original function? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to divide this to make it more basic so we can find the range quicker. So what is, if I'm going to divide x plus 3 and x minus 2, so it'll be 1 here, so 1 times, so x, negative 2, so 5. So we can say f of x can be written as this, by the way. F of x can now be written as 1 plus 5 all over x minus 2. And I'm going to rub this part out. Okay. Now, the range of f of, so now we can say that the range of f is just all reals with the exception of 1, which is the same as the domain of f. So our answer here, we would say the domain of f inverse of f is all reals with the exception of 1. All right. Okay, 3 marks. All right. Move on to the next question. Question 8. So, part of the graph of f function f from negative infinity to 0 of f of x is this. Find a general solution to f of x equals 0. So, so ex, we're saying ex sine x equals 0. So, we know that ex cannot equal to 0. So, it's just sine x equals 0. So, if we draw a graph of sine function, when does it equal to 0? Well, if we draw a sine function, so here would be pi, so we 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi. These values over here. And this will be 0. So we can see that it's equal to 0 at pi, every pi. It's the multiples of pi. So your x value can be written as x is equal to pi n, where n is an element of all integers. Is it? Element of all integers. No. We can only take from negative infinity to 0, so not all integers. So integers on the negative side, and we have to, does it include 0? Yes, it does include 0. So we can say union inclusive of 0. But how you write it? So x is an element of the negative side of the integers with O included. I think that's that. All right, that's your answer. Find a general solution to f dash of x equals this. Okay, so f dash of x is, by using product rule, would be ex cos x plus sine x ex, which is just ex sine x. So let me pull out ex sine x. Now, if we want f dash of x to equal to 0, and we want to solve that, so the ex can factor out, but they still can't be equal to 0. We just would write it here. Ex cannot equal to 0. So we can just say we want to solve for cos x plus sine x, where that equals to 0. Okay, what can I do here? So we know that sine over cos is tan, so we can move that cos to the left, so it'll be negative cos x, which is multiplied by 1. So if we divide both sides by cos, so it'll be tan of x equals -1. Alright, so when does tan of x equal -1? Well, we know that basic angle is x is equal to pi over 4. So I'm just going to draw how the function will look. If I'm going to draw a nice diagram. Oh, and we need to remember that x can only be like less than 0 in less than or including 0. So I don't want to forget that. So we're saying the period is just okay. So we're saying that it's going to go like this, and it's going to go like that, and this over here would be pi, and this will be pi onto here. And this over here would be, let's say this would be 0, and this will be over here -pi onto, and we're gonna redo everything. Okay, so we can only take the less than 0, less than or equal to 0. So, but what is the pattern here? Well, if we put the y equals -1, which is over here, let's say over here. So we're saying that this point over here, this point over here, this point over here, so this one would be, so this value over here would be -pi over 4. And I know that's pi, so it's pi minus pi over 4, which, so what's pi minus pi over 4? This value will be 3 pi over 4. And this value over here, because we know that this is -pi, so we can say -pi minus pi over 4, which is, so -4 pi minus pi, so it's -5 pi over 4. Okay, so what's the pattern here? Well, the pattern is every pi, so we're going by pi's, by the way. So pi, 0, -pi, -2 pi. It goes by that, so we can maybe say x can be, so n pi, so n pi minus pi over 4. Because, for example, let's say if it's 0, so 0, -4, perfect. Okay. But we can only take n as an element of all negative integers, union 0, 2. Let's just double check if that's right, because if we sub in 0, so if we sub in 0, it works. We'll get -pi over 4. If we sub in -1, so it will be -pi over 4. Okay, which is this value over here, and that, okay, and this is 0, and we don't want to go greater than 0, yeah, so less than that. Okay, looks right. So I'll just delete this, and this is your should be your answer. I'm hoping that's right. I'm not too sure. Is that your answer? Let me just make this smaller. Okay, over here. And bring this over here. Okay. Rub this out. And let's just bring this over here. Okay, that's done. Show that ddx equals, of this equals that. Okay, so this is actually, okay, basic, yeah. So we're using our product rule twice, so it will be, we're saying e of x, so ex cos x plus ex sin x minus, so ex, so it'll be negative ex, so it'll be negative ex sin x, negative ex, so u, so this sin, so plus ex cos x. That would equal, ex cos x plus ex sin x plus ex sin x minus ex cos x. Now these ex both cancel out, So we can say 2ex sine x. So we've shown that it's equal to the right hand side. Okay. So right, okay. So hence means using the value above, so ci, find the area bounded by the graph of a function f and the horizontal axis over the interval x element negative pi over 0. So what we're trying to find is, well, they didn't give us the values. So, but we know we know that the general solution goes by pi n. So we're saying negative pi. So this value here, right over here, should be negative pi. And we're saying we want to find an area from negative pi to 0, which would be meaning this area right over here. We want to find this area over here. So this area over here. Okay, so to do that, we're going to say minus the integral from negative pi to 0 of the function e of x sine x. So e of x sine x. E of x sine x dx. That's what we want to try to find. Now, how do we find the integral of ex sine x? Well, we've done it on above. So if we rearrange this over here, if we rearrange it, for example, if we integrate both sides, so let me just write that here. So first, you know how it's d dx, ex sine x minus ex cos x is 2ex sine x. What we want to try to get is this over here. That's to calculate this. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do this. I'm going to integrate both sides. So we're saying integrate d dx of ex sine x minus ex cos x. So we're integrating also this one. Oops, I forgot the... Oops. Okay. Dx equals integrate 2e. Okay. What we can do is, before we do anything else, we can take that 2 out, by the way, because if we integrate, it's a constant, so if we divide, so, okay, let me just put it in first. So it will mean that we're integrating also 2ex sine x dx, blah, blah. Okay, that 2, we want to get rid of it. So we can take it out the integral. So if we take it out the integral, we will have to get rid of it, we'll divide both sides by 2. So we're saying if we divide this side by 2, this will get rid of that integral. We'll get rid of that 2. So it will just be integral e sine that and that. So if I just put this over here, nicely here, and rewrite it. So now it's saying ex sine x dx. So what we're now, that's what we want to find. This over here, which is right over here. So what I can do is replace it with this now. So I can say negative, and I can take the half out, so I can say negative half, and these integral cancel out, by the way, so it will just be that. So we're saying negative half of ex sine x minus ex cos x from negative pi to 0. Now, finishing this off, putting 0, so that'll be 1. What's sine of 0? It's 0. What's cos? So what's e to the power 0, which is just 1. What's cos 0? Cos 0 is just 1, so it'd just be negative 1 minus, if I put negative pi, so it'll be e negative pi. So sine negative pi is, we can take that negative out. So what's sine pi, which is just 0. So this anyway cancels that anyway. So minus, if I put e negative pi, what's cos of negative pi, which is just the same as cos pi? Cos pi is just -1. Okay. Simplifying this, we will get -1, negative e negative pi, which will come here and finish it off. So it'll be half plus e negative pi half, which is just equal to 1 plus e negative pi all over 2. That's your solution. I hope that's right. Okay. I'm just going to make this smaller. It's too much to mess over here. So, alright. Okay, so make it smaller. Nice. Okay, move on to the next question. Oh, is this the last one? Okay, that's good. Okay, that's the last. So, consider the function, okay, where g is this. Okay, so it's a continuous random variable x is a probability density function g. If xm is the value of x for which g has a maximum value, okay, which g has a maximum value, find the probability that x is less than m. So xm is the value of, okay. So what I can do here is, okay, I can find the derivative, because it says maximum. We want to find the derivative of this function over here. So first, the first part of it is a constant. So I can just take that out. So I can just put it over here. All over 1 plus e pi. And so we want to find d dx, so the derivative of ex sine x. We want to find that. And I think we found it already. Which was ex cos x plus ex sine x. Okay. It's ex cos x plus ex sine x. So we found the derivative, and it's multiplied by, again, we don't want to forget this, which will mean that ex cos x plus ex sine x equals 0. So we want to calculate when it's equals 0. Okay, that constant becomes 0 anyway. So, and ex cannot equal 0. We're just getting, again, okay, we're just getting the original. So cos x plus sine x equals 0. Now, we already got that, which was, where was it? So we were saying from, okay, find Jones, so when the f dash of x equals 0. Okay, but we're getting it from 0. Was it 0? Negative pi to 0? Okay, so we're saying from negative pi to 0, which is this value over here, which is negative pi over 4, the first value. So n equals 0, so which is, n equals 0, which is just negative pi over 4. So that's your value. Okay, so x here, which is just your xm now, is negative pi over 4. Now we want to find the probability that x is less than negative pi over 4. So to do that, is we need to, okay, to do that actually, just let me make everything much smaller so we can fit everything in here. Alright, right over there. So, we want to find the probability that it's less than this, which is, take this over here. It will equal to, I'm going to take that negative 2 pi, negative e pi this, because it's still a constant. So we're saying negative 2 e pi all over 1 plus e pi integral from negative pi to negative pi on 4 of f of x, which is just ex sine x dx, which I've already calculated the integral of ex sine x, which was over here. Wasn't it? Here. Yep. So the integral of that is, so this, okay, this is what we want. So it'll be half, it will be So if I pull it half, it just cancels out. It cancels out that 2. So we can just say minus. And yeah, and we just can now sub in ex sin x. So ex sin x minus ex cos x. So we can say negative e pi all over 1 plus e pi all over ex sin x. So ex sin x minus ex cos x. From negative pi over 4 to negative pi. I'm just going to continue under the booklet. So the calculations will be negative e pi all over 1 plus e pi. So if we sub in negative pi over 4, so we're saying e negative pi over 4. Sine, so what's sine? Okay, we put a negative number, so it'll be a negative in front of that e. And what's sine pi over 4, which is 1 over root 2. Okay, minus, so e negative pi, cos of negative pi, which is just cos pi. Cos of pi is still negative 1. Okay, yeah, so cos of pi is still negative 1. Minus, now, wait, what have I done here? Okay, I've made a mistake. What am I doing? Wait, I've mixed up everything. Okay, so wait. We're putting negative pi, so ex, okay, this would be one of this. So minus e negative pi over 4. Cos pi over 4, which is still 1 over root 2. Minus, so it'll be e negative pi. What's sine? So we know that sine pi is 0, so it just becomes 0 anyway. Minus, okay, e negative pi. What's cos of pi? It's negative 1. Close bracket. Which is, oh my god, it's a lot of working out for the question. 1 plus e pi. Okay, so we're saying negative e negative pi over 4 root 2 minus e negative pi over 4 all over root 2. Now these can actually add up. Now this can just add up to negative 2. We can rub that out over here. Make our life easier. Okay, that will be just e pi. So it'll be negative e negative pi. Okay. With that, this, I can simplify this. Oh, oops. I can simplify this much more because there's a rational, there's a square root. So I know that I can say over 4 root 2. If I multiply both sides by root 2, we're saying that this will become 2. So these will cancel out. It'll be negative e negative pi over 4. Well, negative root 2. So this over here can be simplified as negative root 2 e negative pi over 4. Okay. So we've nearly calculated. That's such a long question. Okay, so it will be root 2 e. What's pi? Minus pi over 4. So through pi over 4. It'll be through pi over 4. All over 1 plus e pi. And then plus e. So we're saying pi minus pi, which is 0. All over, which is just, this becomes 1 anyway. So 1 plus e pi, which your final answer is, alright, final answer is root 2 e 3 pi over 4 all over, oh, forgot that 1 plus e pi. Alright, that's your final answer. I hope that's right. Such a long question for that mark. 2 marks for that. Okay, that's stupid. It's very stupid. Oops, what am I doing? Okay, so if I just make this less, smaller. Okay, put it over here. This one over here, I will just put it over here. So your final answer is this. Yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Yeah, I'll be honest, this was a mid-difficult exam. The last question especially, I don't know how students would finish that. 2 marks, not worth it. Go back and read your other questions. Make sure you get the other questions right. Yeah, if it was a real exam, yeah, the last question is a very, very long question. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe, and yeah, share it with your friends. I do private tutoring, and if you guys want tutoring, one-to-one, you can actually email me through this email. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and have